We live in an age where those in power are openly using every weapon at their disposal to impose their will upon the future. Where the principles of authoritarianism and individualism stand in open conflict in the streets, in the courts, in the news, in everyday life.
Oh, well, I hit that a little too early. Ha ha!
We live in an age where those in power are openly using every weapon at their disposal to impose their will upon the future. Where the principles of authoritarianism and individualism stand in open conflict in the streets, in the courts, in the news, in everyday life. Where the choices we make and the choices that are made for us have consequences no one can foresee. You do not stand alone. You do not fight alone. You do not suffer alone. We are united. We resist. We are here with you. As long as there is a truth that remains hidden, as long as lies are spread openly, we will continue to speak out. We will continue to question. We will continue to be the united resistance.
What do you want to do now, Cap?
The same thing we always do. Fight them until we can't.
Oh, that's right. We are on episode 8 of the new United Resistance podcast, Fighting Them Until We Can't, which we've been doing for countless episodes of this program. It is great to be here. I, of course, am Drew T, aka the Patriot Journalist, better known as Supreme Heretic. Nice to see everybody. Hope you're doing good on a Monday evening. And I wasn't kidding when I said we had a packed show. You know, obviously, just before we went live last night, a few hours beforehand, we had the breaking news that, of course, Dan Bongino is the deputy director of the FBI. So that's going to be very interesting. Remains to be seen what happens, but let me put it to you this way. All the people that were in on Russia collusion, all the people that were in on the laptop from hell, all the people that were in on the lawfare, the dirty tricks, hell, who knows? Could be even going back to the Steele dossier. Accountability is going to come. You know, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter kind of calling it the FAFO FBI. This is the new FBI, the fuck around and find out So we're going to see accountability. So I find the appointment of Dan Bongino to be quite interesting. Right now, I think it's a great move, but I want to see action. As do many people that voted in this administration. We want to see action. Now, there's some other things that have popped up today, in doing the show prep and kind of just reading up on my Twitter feed. There are some concerning things. I'm going to share one of them as soon as I can track the clip down here, because I do wonder one thing. There's been a couple conversations I've had with people where they're more middle of the road leaning. They're not MAGA people per se, and they're certainly not liberals. But they're very awake people that know the way the world works, if you will. All about the things we've been talking about the entire time, the World Economic Forum, the banking cartels, all 9 yards. They know where the power lies, brother. But in the conversations I had, the concern that came up was with Musk being a wild card, Elon Musk as here. Is he an ally right now? Absolutely he is. But on the other side of it, I want to pose a question that was posed to me and in this conversation, and it was, are we trading one new world order for another new world order? And to me, that's fair. That's fair because it's a conversation that's not spouting any sort of side of the aisle talking point. It's asking a greater existential question that I do believe is fair to ask. Because, again, my concerns are, is AI going to become a thing that is going to go off the rails? Is the Neuralink chip in the head type of idea still going to catch on and push forward? That concerns me. We've got the committee headed up by Anna Paulina Luna and some other people saying that the JFK, MLK, RFK, UAP type of stuff, documents are going to come out soon. Again, with that, I don't think that should have taken a committee. I don't feel like it is something that needs to be behind a committee. I feel like they should have just let the people have the information. I'm very disappointed that they felt we needed it to come from behind yet another gate. Why does it have to come from a committee? You know, I think, especially given that it has past history, that stuff doesn't need to come from a committee whatsoever. There was an interesting thing that popped up while I'm searching for this on my Twitter earlier today, and that was that supposedly the FBI, as recent as a week or so ago, were internally stonewalling the effort to get into Doge, and also that there may have been an operation actively deleting anything related to Jeffrey Epstein, which again, I have to call out Pam Bondi on this. Look, the Epstein list is supposedly on your desk, lady. What the hell is happening? You know, so I'm hoping that a lot of this stuff is nonsense. And that we're going to get some concrete answers. Really, really hoping we are going to get concrete answers, because the people deserve it. They deserve it. We also had a report that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to turn down the invitation to the White House that traditionally the Super Bowl winner, or most championship winners, get. When they win a championship, the winning team gets invited to the White House to meet the president, so on and so forth, to have lunch with the president, whatever. There was a report that said that they were turning it down, blah, blah, blah. That indeed is bunk. The truth is, and this is from Adam Schefter, very well connected NFL insider, Philadelphia Eagles sources say the team is planning on visiting the White House this offseason and looks forward to receiving the invitation. The invitation never even went out, but people thirsty for clicks and the fake news put that out there. Just another day of disparaging Trump because they can't get over themselves. They can't get over themselves. They really can't. But the clip that I'm trying to track down for you is there's apparently a clip of Pam Bondi speaking with President Trump, and this is concerning red flag laws. And, you know, a number of you, if not most of you, have protection. And I'm not talking about birds and the bees protection. I'm talking about we have protection of 2A. Now, it's concerning that even before there could have been, you know, the current serving attorney general had leanings toward these red flag laws. Okay, I found this. I'm going to share it and play it. Let me get caught up on who's in the chat and say hello before we go any further. I don't want to be rude. So I see Dwayne Erickson's here. Hello, Dwayne. Hello to Kronos. Obviously, he's been chilling in here. Parrot Head's in the house. Tehillim is in the house. Hail Tehillim. So we've got a fair amount of people here and other people watching. Minoche's Helicopter Tours is here. Hail, buddy. Great to see you as well. Long time, actually. I haven't seen you in a minute. All right, guys. Let me get on this for you. This is a genuine concern of mine, and let's just go ahead and share this clip.
We've been rewriting it, and we are going to bring in something called the Gun Violence Restraining Order. So if someone is civilly committed, typically you can hold them for up to 72 hours, but people are getting out within 24 hours, the majority of them. So what we want to do is let law enforcement come in and take the guns.
Good.
They're a danger to themselves.
Which you can't
or
do right
others.
now.
Well, because without being adjudicated. So because they're a danger to themselves.
You want them to take the guns and
when they are committed.
not go through 6 months of legal trials and everything else,
Exactly. But we
okay.
also have to give the
Good.
mentally ill the due process in which they deserve, President. So what we're doing is they're going to be able to take the guns when they're taken into custody or into the hospital. And then when they're released within 24 hours or 72 hours later, typically it's 24 hours, but law enforcement will have 72 hours to determine whether they should give those guns back, or they can go to a judge and say, Your Honor, please keep these guns. We feel this person is still a danger to himself or others, whether
So
they're
this
in or
would
out
not
of
have
custody.
worked the way it's currently constituted. This would not have worked with Cruz as it's currently constituted.
As it's currently written.
So you're going to make changes?
We're going to make changes.
All right. Now, this, as a lot of Twitter stuff tends to be shared out, this could be, and I've heard people say it already, that this is back from when she was Florida AG. So I don't know where she stands on that right now. But nevertheless, if we're going to be fair and we're going to think in terms of the Constitution and in terms of freedom and liberty, that should give you guys a little pause. That's all I'm saying. I voted for this administration. So I am certainly not against them. But that is somewhat of a cause for concern. So what saith you on that, guys? I would like your opinion on that. And damn, I wish Tommy was in the chat because, I know how he feels about 2A. And it's too bad Shellback isn't here either, because I'd love to hear what he would have to say about this. But, if I'm going to be even-handed and fair, and I am even-handed and fair, that is concerning. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Parrothead, we are going to get to that as well. We're going to get to that as well. I caught that, and we are going to talk about that. And yes, Kronos, I agree with you. It's good to be vigilant. And we voted, the majority of us voted the way we did. As we voted for agents of change, we wanted the size of government to get cut. We wanted a return to constitutional principles. And in doing so, if we're going to have a return to constitutional principles, you got to have people that will go according to the Constitution as it is written today. That, to me, goes firmly against it. Now, look, I like the idea of it in spirit because you don't want the mentally ill running around with deadly weapons. But, how are you really and truly going to stop them? Well, you take a gun away from somebody, they're going to walk around with a knife. You take a knife away from somebody, they'll walk around with a, any sharp object, pair of scissors, a fork, a spoon, a teacup if they're Riddick. If you guys saw that movie. Yeah, a bottle of acid. It's you have to have an even keel way of looking at this, and all I'm saying is it is a concern. So, I wouldn't do this show justice without being able to play devil's advocate. Because if I didn't do that, then you're just saying, oh, well, I'm just going to be a fanboy of this administration no matter what. And you have to take them kind of glasses off when it comes to constitutional principles and how government is supposed to be working. You have to. Hail Tree Rock Creations. Good to see you. I agree, Tehillim. There's some of them. As we will clearly see. So in the other regular news today, Trump and Macron met at the White House, and I am not a fan, anywhere close to a fan of Emmanuel Macron. I think he's penetrates the cabinet's puppet. And I do believe he's a gas bag. I don't trust a guy but he's the president of France, and we got to meet with those leaders. And Trump met with them, talking about France putting in their fair share on NATO, which they need to do, and also apprising him of the efforts to end the Ukraine war, which I still think there is going to be an end to that war eventually, very soon, because I think Trump is going to get what he wants. Brianna Morello says on Twitter that Kash Patel is already fired. Several FBI employees. I'm going to go ahead and share this because oh, hey, Maria. It's great to see our friend Maria, the Geeky Crochet, Miss Unlocking Lore. Pinochet's helicopter tour says, remember when Paris burned right before the Olympics? Macron wants out. Yeah, I think he is wilting under the pressure. I really do, Pinochet. Hail to Cotton Ministries, aka Papa Cotton. What's up, man? Good to see you, my friend. All right, let's take a look at this because this is what Parrot Head was speaking about. This from Nick Sortor. WTF, deranged Congressman Dan Crenshaw, Texas, was caught on camera threatening Tucker Carlson's life. Quote, if I ever meet Tucker Carlson, I'll effing kill him. I'm not joking. Elon Musk asks, why is Crenshaw homicidal regarding Tucker? And Tucker essentially says to Crenshaw, why don't you come sit for an interview and we'll see how you do? I'll send you my address, Dan Crenshaw. Oh, God. You know, that guy, Dan Crenshaw, I have never liked him. Patch McCain is a rhino from the word go. I will stand by that. I mean, every once in a blue moon, he will vote for something, but 9 times out of 10, he votes against anything that is going to be a help to people whatsoever. So I think Crenshaw has been a total POS. Speaking of podcast hosts and personalities all of a sudden taking government jobs, Graham Allen has taken a job working for Pete Hegseth and by proxy President Trump in the Department of Defense. I do believe that he has a background in the military, though, or in that setting. So he is qualified. I'll tell you this, it's going to be a very interesting week for Adam Schiff. I think the walls are going to start closing in on Mr. Schiff. I know that Bongino has had his eye on Schiff from the jump. So you could get him on just about anything. I mean, I don't think they can go after him for the J6 committee stuff, but everything else they probably could. This just coming in from Elon. Today was the deadline day for people to respond to the to that letter where Elon said, hey, you got to let us know what exactly you're getting done for your week. And this was just a general memo sent out to federal employees, essentially so they know people are actually working. Well, according to Elon, those that didn't respond still subject to the discretion of President Trump, they will be given another chance. Failure to respond a second time will result in termination. As apparently, there are actually some fake employees or people that no longer work for the government that were still receiving salary and benefits. So that will be very interesting. I'm anxious for the stuff to come out about UAPs. I really am. I want to find out about what it is that people have been seeing for decades upon decades upon decades. That's it's quite interesting. Do you think Crenshaw is a hair better than Cocaine Mitch? I don't know. I think they are equally dismal, to be honest. Mitch could have a crap that depends contest with Biden at this point. They're so far gone. I wonder. It's interesting, Kronos. I wonder. By the way, thank you for all of you that came out last night for the little examination of Sasquatch that we had on the Midnight Prism. I enjoyed it. It was fun. We had some really, really cool new Squatch stuff to talk about, so I was enjoying that. Um, Man, the other thing that we wanted to discuss here was the fact that there's some concerning things coming out about the Ashley St. Clair situation with Elon. And that is that she may very well be a foreign government honeypot. This is a woman that's repeatedly joked on her own Twitter that she is a Mossad operative and made inferences that there's things she knows about the intelligence community, so on and so forth. And you're going to tell me that it appears that she went and, over a period of years, set this thing up and targeted Elon, trying to get in there to have leverage on him. That is concerning. But it's a tale as old as time, guys. Look at what happens with a lot of professional athletes. You've got people constantly looking to set them up to get a bag. Anybody with money and or power or both is a target. You're a target. Now you have that that stroke, you're a target. So we'll see what happens with that, but I have my concerns about Miss Ashley. Now, if there's any lag on the stream, guys, I'm going to say this, is you have to remember I live in a hotel, and this is the peak time for people to be online. Just saying. If there's any connection issue, we'll go ahead and punt to the next show if there's a continued connection issue. But it comes with the territory of living in a hotel and being at the mercy of hotel internet. Just so you know. So, looks like we're back for now. But I wanted you guys to understand that. I don't have the internet I once did when I was at mom's. That was nice. That was a good luxury. One day, guys, all I can do is keep working the job I got and pray. And I'll be out of living like this. I won't be living in no hotel. I'll actually have a place again, a car again. Because it's rough having nothing. It's great having a wife to be that's in your corner. And there's a lot of, I mean, that's irreplaceable, but it's a whole lot of struggle when you don't have a true home and you don't have a vehicle. That's all. Because, man, especially trying to get to work, them Uber fees, ooh boy. And I am really glad that I got back into this game because, boy, if United Resistance was going to come back, this is the time to be back doing it because, man, we have a whole lot. And there's a convergence. Like I said, there is a convergence of things. And I think because, man, it just feels like we're in the quickening, like stuff's happening. I don't know. You can say we're on the sped up clock to the end times. We're going for a cultural shift, a reality shift. Who knows? But man, it is a hell of a time to be alive. I will say that. All right. You know, this is what I was talking about before, you guys. Look at this. And again, these are people that we voted for. Oh, Pinochet, I'm still in Ohio. I never did move to Tennessee. That was an idea I was kicking around. And I wonder if maybe I should have. That's not off the table, by the way. But I want to show you guys this. We're starting to lag a little bit again. This is just 10 hours ago. Anna Paulina Luna put this out. My GOP Oversight Task Force's first hearing will be held March 26th and will examine the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. We will also visit the site of the assassination in Dallas, Texas, and speak with firsthand witnesses. Stay tuned. That comes 9:34 a.m., February 24th, 2025. Listen, if you got the damn documents, let the people read them. If you have the documents, let the people read them. Want to thank Parrot Head for the $1.49 super sticker. Thank you so much, my boy. You're my friend, and I appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Kronos. But how soon is it going to come? You know, that's what's frustrating here. Why can we not have the documents? And there were a couple people up in the chat that said, you know, I want to say it was a Cotton or Pinochet or one of you guys said Bondi is going over the Epstein list with a black marker. You never know. You never know, because look, when it comes to the government, even the people we put in the government, okay? Even the people we put in the government, we cannot blindly trust. We can never, ever, ever blindly trust. The one thing you can trust is the founding fathers, the founding documents, the things that give us the backbone of what our country is framed on. You can trust the framers, but you can never trust your government. I like Trump, don't get me wrong, but man, I don't necessarily trust this administration. I trust them a lot more than the last administration, obviously, but I don't blindly trust this administration, and I voted for them. You know, well, my question is this, guys, is they come out and to tell us about the ridiculous losses that we've been taking on our hard-earned money that we've turned over to them for taxes. As they come out and show us just what the money's been spent on, well, are they throwing that in our face, or are they telling us for a reason? You know, why aren't you going and auditing the IRS? Abolish the fucking IRS. When are we going to take the wrecking ball to the Federal Reserve? When are we going to let Ron Paul have at it and go and audit the Federal Reserve? When are we going to check Fort Knox? I want to see that shit happen. And then instead of going after the political enemies, because yeah, you got to go after them too. First off, go after the fucking NGOs. You know, I want to see a balanced budget. Sure, I'd love a $5,000 check, but I want to see a balanced budget, and I want to see them take the wrecking ball finally to the Federal Reserve and the IRS, redo the entire system of credit, redo the entire system of taxation. There should only be a goods and services tax. You should keep everything else. If this administration is truly common sense, go to the common sense and do what you need to do. Pinochet's helicopter tours for $5, and thank you for the super chat, my friend. enough with the hearings, release it all, no redactions. I don't care who is hurt. Let justice be done, though the heavens fall. Fiat Justitia Ruat Calam. Yes. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. You know, and again, it goes back to my general question in the beginning, guys. What we need to be cognizant of is asking that fair question. Are we trading one new world order for another? And I hate to put that out there, but that is the real. You know, that's the real. Are you exchanging one for another? And then, okay, if we're talking about wasteful spending on foreign countries, when can we talk about the elephant in the room? I don't think we have to be any less an ally of Israel, but we can curtail some of the radical spending that we've done, handing them money and weapons. They have great technology there. They have a really combat fluent force in their military. They are an extremely civilized country. Why do we have to sink as much as we do into them? Or do they have something on us? Do they blackmail it out of us? I don't know anymore. But the thing is I don't blindly trust any government. I don't. And I think it's completely fair to be able to call out any ally. It really is. From Israel to the UK to Australia, anybody. If they're not pulling their weight or if they're not doing something right, it's fair to call them out. No, I understand that, Bibi comes on and says, oh, the U.S. is our greatest ally. And Trump always says, oh, Israel's our greatest ally. Hey, it's cool. All right, we're besties, whatever. But the thing is like, look, because it's proven right now, every government's got issues. They've got bad actors in them. All the governments have bad actors in them. Don't think for 1 second there's one pure government, because there isn't. They all have bad actors. And it's fair to be able to tell your, quote, bestie, hey, man, get your friggin' house in order. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think that makes me out of pocket. I don't think it makes me making an anti-Semitic statement, the same as the wokies would always say. If you called out Soros or anybody like that, oh, you're anti-Semitic. Well, it's not. The guy's a bad actor. He's funding intentional chaos. He's a bad actor. Plain and simple. And I don't think that's out of pocket whatsoever. And it isn't out of pocket to call out your allies or call out a friend when they got baggage and tell them just to clean up their baggage. You know, and I put it in a lot nicer way than a lot of independent journalists and podcasters do. I do. So, yeah, this government has a long way to go. Do I like the start that our new administration is on? I absolutely do. I voted for a lot of it. What I need to see is them to kick it in overdrive, and I need consistency. You're going to talk big shit, deliver. Deliver. That's the biggest thing. Because the more that they don't deliver or they come out with stuff like that, or we see clips about them talking about red flag laws, things like that, that shit makes you freak out a little bit. I mean, I got to see results. I got to see them proceeding according to the Constitution. Hail the small-time republic. What's up? And I agree with you. The relationship with Israel definitely needs to be reciprocal. Absolutely. Daytona Falls. Sup, Parrot Ed? Thanks for the link. Hey, thanks for coming in, Daytona. Good to see you. But yeah, I have my concerns and reservations, just like everybody else does, about the government. We haven't reinvented the wheel and solved all the problems just because we put a new administration in, guys. We're on the right track, but we need to see a lot more action. I've been going for about an hour, guys. You folks that just showed up are getting in on the tail end, but we talked about some interesting stuff this evening. You have to go back through and watch, but man, we've had a good conversation tonight. Oh yeah, Shellback. You know what? I'll replay this because you showed up. In Daytona, small time, I want you guys to chime in on this too. Let me go back to it. All right. I want you to see this, Shellback. Daytona, watch this and tell me what you think as well. And the same thing with you, small time. We talked about this earlier.
Going to bring in something called the Gun Violence Restraining Order. So if someone is civilly committed and typically you can hold them for up to 72 hours, but people are getting out within 24 hours, the majority of them. So what we want to do is let law enforcement come in and take the guns.
Good.
They're a danger to themselves.
Which you can't do right now.
Well, because without being adjudicated. So because they're a danger to themselves.
You want them to take the guns and
when they are
not
committed.
go through 6 months of legal trials and everything else,
Exactly. But we also have to give the mentally ill the due process in which they deserve, President. So what we're doing is they're going to be able to take the guns when they're taken into custody or into the hospital, And then when they're released within 24 hours or 72 hours later, typically it's 24 hours, but law enforcement will have 72 hours to determine whether they should give those guns back, or they can go to a judge and say, Your Honor, please keep these guns. We feel this person is still a danger to himself or others, whether
So
they're
this
in or
would
out
not
of
have worked
custody.
the way it's currently constituted. This would not have worked with Cruz as it's currently constituted.
As it's currently written.
So you're going to make changes?
We're going to make changes.
All right. Now that is supposedly, to give you some background, that is supposedly when she was the AG in Florida. Now, I don't know when that clip is from, but it did surface today, and there's been a lot of people talking about it with valid concern that she is gonna continue to push red flags. Thanks for the sub, bro. Appreciate you. Now you guys give me your take on that. I know how I know how Selbach feels. Small time says I'm against anything that restricts gun rights. Daytona, I have not seen a longer clip. That's the one that's being shared around on X today. I haven't found a longer one for context. Well, I hope to hell you're right, Tim, because, you know, a lot of Americans are going to have a real problem if she stays on that train. Now, look, I don't really think you can police mental health, and here's why. Because, again, you take guns out of the hands of psychos, they're going to grab knives. You take knives out of the hands of psychos, they're going to grab anything handy. So, what the hell are you really accomplishing in the first place? That's my 2 cents on it. I mean, you know, we obviously, you know, don't want any deadly weapon falling in the hands of, you know, the mentally ill and unstable. But at the same time, how the hell do you police that? You can't. And you can't take it away, because then you're taking away from the law-abiding citizens. Pinocchio's helicopter tour says, I'm from that city that made the news last week. I'd like to test Massachusetts flag logs by playing city meeting and going to my sheriff and submitting their screeching as evidence. Interesting. Daytona said, all firearms on scene are confiscated when a crime has been committed. Parrothead, you found a 4-minute clip, you say? Send me the link, please, to my ex. Yep, Tim, you're not wrong. It sure was. Yeah, we'll get it shared here, guys. We'll watch it. Yes, sir. All right. Let me peep it here. Did you DM it or did you just send it in a reply? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, it looks like this is definitely when you first see it, guys, and you'll see what I'm talking about. DeSantis is in the background, so this had to be been when she was Florida AG for sure.
Introduce themselves quickly and say a few words, and maybe we can start off with Pam Bondi. Pam,
Thanks,
thank
President.
you.
I'm Pam Bondi, Attorney General of Florida, and
Okay.
Mayor, thank you. I know you're going through a lot now. President, she was there that night with me. I think you were there with me until 3:30 in the morning when all these families were being notified, and it was horrific. So I know you've been through a lot, so thank you so much.
Great job.
I have a couple issues that I'll wait. Do you want to talk about them now?
Talk
or
about them.
later?
You could talk.
Well, one, it addresses some of the things you said in Florida. It's called the Baker Act, but it's our Civil Commitment Act, and it's weak. And it's about 1,000 pages long, and I've had my Solicitor General on it for 3 days now, working on it. We're rewriting it along with Governor Scott, you're going to meet with him. He's going to
Good.
give you a ton of good information. We've been rewriting it, and we are going to bring in something called the Gun Violence Restraining Order. So if someone is civilly committed, and yet typically you can hold them for up to 72 hours, but people are getting out within 24 hours, the majority of them. So what we want to do is let law enforcement come in and take the guns.
Good.
They're a danger to themselves.
Which you can't
or
do
others.
right now.
Well, because without being adjudicated. So because they're a danger to themselves.
You want them to take the guns and
when they are
not
committed.
go through 6 months of legal trials and everything else.
Exactly. But we also have to give the mentally ill the due process in which they deserve, President. So what we're doing is they're going to be able to take the guns when they're taken into custody or into the hospital. And then when they're released within 24 hours or 72 hours later, typically it's 24 hours, but law enforcement will have 72 hours to determine whether they should give those guns back or they can go to a judge and say, Your Honor, please keep these guns. We feel this person is still a danger to himself or others, whether
So
they're
this
in
would
or out
not
of
have
custody.
worked the way it's currently constituted. This would not have worked with Cruz as it's currently constituted.
As it's currently written.
So you're going to make changes?
We're going to make changes. And one other thing we're doing about the reporting, President, which is huge, this is a big issue. We need a clearinghouse, and that's what we've all been discussing. And we have created, and several of my counterparts have done it around the country, but we're the biggest state doing it. It's an app because kids now are on social media. And there were so many warning signs on Snapchat, on Twitter, on Instagram, and they were posting them, they were sending them, but to all different sources. We're going to have, and we just got it written in our House and Senate budget. It'll cost at least $500,000 a year to fund this. But what it does, kids, and so I met with 10 students and they loved it. And they said, I'm empowering them. 3 of them are my graphic designers. They're
Good.
going to design the icons. Some are going to name it. They're helping us with it. But it'll cost probably about $100,000 maximum to develop. That's all in our budget. So what kids can do now, they can automatically send something that says, I'm going to buy a gun, just like Cruz was doing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And one of the girls who I met with, one of the students told me he had been doing this since middle school. He had bullied her and she reported it. So it will all, they can instantly, and they can do it with anonymity. Put it in this app.
Good.
It'll go in the app and it'll go to one clearinghouse with state law enforcement in Florida.
Well, you mentioned the internet. We have to look at the internet because a lot of bad things are happening to young kids and young minds. And their minds are being formed. And we have to do something about maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing it. And also video games. I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts. And then you go the further step, and that's the movies. You see these movies, they're so violent, and yet a kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved, but killing is involved. And maybe they have to put a rating system for that. And you get into a whole very complicated, very big deal. But the fact is that you are having movies come out that are so violent with the killing and everything else that maybe that's another thing we're going to have to discuss. And a lot of people are saying it. You have these movies today where you can go and have a child see the movie. Much, Pam.
Thanks, President.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Right. Well, it's
Oh gosh. All right. Well, you know, I don't know, guys. I feel like people were putting it out on X today. She's going to be a gun grabber. You know, I think we're just going to have to wait and see. It's a wait and see thing because that was from 18. That's 6 years ago. All right. That's 6 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, I can't jump that woman's case as much. And again, yeah, that was a bad take from the Trumpster on that one. So yeah, these videos are a little bit of old news, but they are good to go through because, you know, if these people don't do right, then we do have the ammo to hold them accountable. That's all I'm saying. But man, those were a couple of bad takes, not going to lie. All right, we've been at this, folks, for about an hour and 10 minutes, give or take. I gotta run because the wife to be is walking home from work, and I gotta roles are reversed, gents. I gotta get supper started. So let me do that. She does it for me when I'm working. I'm gonna do it for her when she's working. So we'll meet back here most likely on Monday, and or actually Sunday night, because we'll talk some Sasquatch on the Midnight Prison. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support. And I do appreciate y'all, man. See you guys soon. For sure.